Okay, so Dan York and Brittany Pitschman here from Stellary Marketing, waterdamagemarketing.com, and we have John Grubb here, also known as Jonathan from United Restorers. And Jonathan, do us a favor and give us a quick background of who you are, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, Daniel, thank you for the introduction. United Restorers, we were founded in 2013. We do three things: pay-per-click advertising, social media management, and geo-fenced ads, specifically focused in the restoration space because that is our background. It's the language we speak and the work that we know.
Excellent.
UnitedRestorers.com.
I'm sorry, say that domain one more time.
UnitedRestorers.com.
All right, good. All right, and then again, we're Stellar Remarketing. Dan and Brittany, we're usually the face of the operation, water-damage-marketing.com. We've been doing restoration marketing since 2009. And us and John and other guys like 33 Mile Radius and Leads by Phone, Paul, who I think is retired, John, by the way.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, his website's been down for a while, but he was getting up there. And last time I talked to him, I think he had a retirement plan. But anyway, all of us there was Restoration SOS back in the day. They went out of business some time ago. Maybe they're back up and running. I don't know. But between the five of us, we were all basically the digital OGs for the restoration space. So anyway, that's all about us. And our call today is basically about where the call is coming from for restoration guys in 2025 and where are they going in 2026. This is an important subject. There's the idea from this is, we're all talking to restoration guys every single day and all of our clients and between all three of us, we've literally dealt with thousands of restoration companies in the last, 15, 16 years alone. And we've seen major changes, and we're all on the forefront of like where are those changes and where are they going to go. So let's start with first of all lead gen, okay? Because most restoration contractors, especially the ones that have been around a long time, they've all bought phone calls. And back in the old days, you used to be able to buy a phone. And when I say the old days, I'm talking like 2010, 2011, John. Okay. So
Yeah.
old days for us.
Back when
A
we
lot
were
of,
young men. Yeah.
when we were young men, there was guys who were working, just as techs back then that are all now business owners, hilariously. So
hmm
we are definitely in that age group. But anyway, calls back then, I mean, you used to be able to buy a call for 150 bucks, 175 bucks. And Brittany and I were just on a call. I mean, I think it was just last
What?
week
Yeah, last week.
where, yeah, like the average we probably hear now on buying phone calls is probably about 500 bucks. But then, Brittany, what did that guy say last week? 1,400 or something?
1,400 he paid.
$1,400. That
Yeah.
wasn't even a plumbing referral.
No.
That was a
Yeah.
purchased phone call. And that's,
Yeah.
they didn't even close that deal. If it's an average job of, let's say, 3 to 5 grand, that's all the profit margin.
Yeah.
We were
Yeah.
like, holy cow.
Yeah, it was crazy when he said
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, what do
Yeah.
you?
I've got clients that have been with, companies like 33 Mile for years and years. The last call I had about that was last week or the week before. Client who's been around 25 plus years, big market. He has been around. This is a seasoned guy. Um, and he's not only paying through the nose when he does get a call through lead generation, he's not getting lead generation calls. And so, because he has these established relationships, he's asking them, where the heck are the calls? And if you look at the trajectory of lead generation over the years, they started out doing, either really spammy SEO
Mhm.
or blowing up ad auctions in certain markets. And then when that wasn't profitable enough, they went into this closed auction system or like a round robin based on the tier you're willing to pay. I think I said this 6 or 7 years ago. That's a dying industry without a doubt. And I think we're seeing it right now.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hear hit or miss stuff on the lead gen stuff. Certainly leads coming from the organic listings on Google, which I'll show you guys in a little bit,
Mhm.
are dead in the water, which means Angie's List's whole marketing strategy outside of their pay-per-click ads, dead in the water.
Yeah.
Expertise.com, dead in the water. All those guys
I
doing
see.
that sort of marketing are dead or are about to be. But we still get reports from guys using 33-mile radius that it still works. It's just really expensive.
Yeah.
We talked to a few guys that have used 99 calls to some reasonable success. They're cheaper than 33-mile radius, but they're just not. I don't know if we can hear the results. So it's interesting. I actually hear more people that are successful with buying calls now than maybe even 2 or 3 years ago. So
Oh, interesting.
yeah, I thought that was interesting. Yeah, but the costs have gotten so high, and I used to think it was just because of the cost of pay-per-click ads, and then, earlier, why don't you tell everybody here what you were saying earlier about the cost of pay-per-click ads? Because it kind of argues with what I thought the reason the costs were getting so high for.
Yeah, cost per click rates haven't changed. I say in over a decade, but it's closer to 15 years. Um, I have said, I mean, if anybody's talked to me over the years, I have said the national average for a position one, page one, um, a super key phrase, water damage repair companies near me, or something to that extent, is still about $65. In some markets, you're going to go up to 100. We've got one client now that is consistently paying through June, July, and August between 150 and 180, but that's a unicorn. Markets like South Florida, Southern California, 65, $75 price range. So if you look at it if you graph it out, that hasn't changed at all.
It's
Um,
interesting.
National cost per click rates, what Google reports is that their average is $4.50 per click. So yes, granted, restoration is substantially higher. We are right up there with auto insurance, um, DUI attorneys, stuff like that. But our click price has not changed. And in markets where I would expect it to be very high, it's not. I can tell you right now in Orange County, California, a page one, position one is still in that. It's closer to 50 to $65. And as long as you're not targeting, trying to capture 18 million people in Southern California, you can target and not pay through the nose for an ad click.
Wow. Well, that would
Hmm.
mean then that, like, let's say 5 years ago, you're spending, I mean, I would say I probably heard average $400 a call 5 years ago, right? So if you're
Cost per
spending,
acquisition, yeah, definitely possible.
yeah, but that would mean if they're spending, like this guy that we just talked to, we couldn't believe it when we heard it. We're like, $1,400. That's like an
Wow.
LA plumbing referral. I mean,
Yeah.
LA has like the highest plumbing referral costs we pretty much run into. But then when he said that, I was like, well, then the clicks must be $500. I was like, but that's not the case.
No, I think a lot of that is driven by the competitive nature of the lead gen auction. So he's
Interesting.
not the only guy that wants that call. And it certainly could be that he's paying a tier one price for that call. Because again, some of these lead gen companies have moved into a closed auction system.
Mm.
It's not democratic like it used to be. There are different tiers, and if you're willing to pay, you're going to get the job. And frankly, a lot of guys are slow right now. A lot of guys have been slow since about summer of last year.
Yeah, we've heard Q4 was when we noticed it because, you and I play in different territories,
Right.
but not in terms of industry, but in terms of technologies. But yeah, Q4, we noticed a big slowdown and, it kind of went up through the normal seasonality of things.
Mhm.
And interestingly, not for all niches of restoration, like mold remediators, it's different than if you're just doing dry outs and reconstruction referrals, still pretty good. So we're hearing different things along those lines, and it's also having interesting side effects where everybody wants a piece of the biohazard game now. Like we're getting lots of contacts for crime scene, suicide. Everybody wants to jump into all of the little side verticals now. But
Yeah.
all right, so let's go into like and move on from like buying phone calls into like I'm gonna screen share.
Wait, let's touch base on LSA. I've been hearing it's doing really well too for a lot of our clients.
Yeah. If
Loyalty
you can keep your
guaranteed.
account,
Yeah.
uh,
Exactly. And now
in good
Google's doing
standing
that.
with
Right?
Google. It does
Yeah.
real well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're hearing the same thing. I mean, with the Google Maps listings, Google My Business, I mean, they've changed the name of this thing like 5 times in the last 6 years. But Google Maps, we just say because everybody knows what we're talking about, and
Yep.
LSAs. It's the same
Yeah.
for both. And one of the reasons why, by the way, is there's a lot of fake Google Maps listings out there, and people were putting
Yeah.
them at their addresses. We were finding lead gen companies creating fake Google Maps
Mhm.
listings, and so Google has made it so hard to verify the map listings now.
Right.
It's kind of a good thing because it's filtering out the BS and the guys just trying to create a fake plumbing company to get the calls to refer to the restoration
Right.
guys for $1,200 and
Well,
yeah,
so Google's done two things. The video verification, which they've been doing for, I don't know, maybe 2 years now,
right.
very helpful. But Google also just recently, I think it went live in September, maybe August. Um, Reviews are all handled through that LSA account. So they've sort of smushed Google My Business and LSA into
Yeah.
one entity, which
Mhm.
we knew they were going to do because they don't make any money off maps. And they know it is an incredible source of business for small businesses.
Yeah.
Um, so the cracking down on fake reviews, fake listings, to their credit, Google's trying. And I think for our clients who are above board companies, it's a great thing because it makes, the crook and the dirtbag, he's got to find new tricks of the trade to get business now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that leads into the next subject, is where, because there's where things are in 2025 and where, I mean, we started seeing a major shift, like I said, Q4 2024. And I'm going to screen share. You guys let me know when you can see this.
And I'll say while you're doing that, we saw at Q3 2024 because our price point is so
Hmm.
much higher than yours because of just ad spend,
Yeah, of
right?
course.
So it became really more of an economy thing and a fear thing. And then we've watched that sort of trickle out over the last year. So yeah, I definitely started seeing it summer, end of summer, fall of last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we will definitely feel it first when anytime the industry as a whole is nervous about what's
Mhm.
coming next, they usually cut off one of the more expensive advertising efforts in their business, and that tends to be pay-per-click.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not unusual. I mean,
Yeah, for
we've
sure.
had these conversations many times. Let me show you a couple of things here that
Okay.
this they just changed 3 days ago. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Google typically, if you just think of them like a publicly traded company and they have stockholders to make happy. And the other thing is, I think it was in 2023, they had to report in court that they made $254 billion on pay-per-click ads. And they might have
hmm
included Google guaranteed in that too, the
I,
LSAs,
I think it was all search ads.
all search
So
ads. Yeah.
yeah, I think 2023 they reported 270 something billion.
Yeah.
Um, Watching their revenue again, the in 2021 their ad revenue didn't quite double, but real close to it, and they have
Mhm.
been just on an upward trajectory ever since 2021. January 2021, they were, prior to that, little increments of revenue gain year over year, and then it just takes off like a rocket ship.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll
Mhm.
show you where we watch things go in here and where we think they're going to go. Because Google's been changing this stuff literally every day. Brittany and I see
hmm
changes every single day.
Constantly.
They're testing different things, like this new sponsored ad thing. This
Yeah.
screen's not even showing up how it was yesterday, which was hilarious because it literally looked like this stuff down here.
But
Okay.
Right.
they were all sponsored PPC
And they were
ads.
all sponsored, and it was like it was in an accordion. Right now, this all looks like LSAs. But so one thing that is a pretty dramatic change is, AI, of course, has been coming in, and we've all been using AI to some degree for certain things for years now. And but what's really changing it is ChatGPT. So ChatGPT moved into the space, And, Google is still kind of the 500-pound gorilla in search, right?
Yep.
And mostly because of Google Maps, which I'll show you guys. But ChatGPT has really put a dent in there, so much so that last year, Google, this was in 2024, they put out a red alert meeting on it. I don't know if you remember that. You guys can Google that later.
Yeah.
Did a red alert meeting on it, and then that forced them to take Google Gemini and really start figuring out like, well, what do we do now, right? And so up here, of course, you guys have all probably seen this AI mode.
Right.
And not a lot of people and we survey this every single day with every person that we talk to. And Brittany and I are probably in 4 to 5 meetings with clients a day.
Yeah.
So not many people are using this AI mode yet. And I'm going to switch back and forth. I just have this kind of local Utah search for decent sized town. I think there's like 60,000 people in there. But so with ChatGPT, it's interesting because I can do the same search there. And the results they do change a little bit here, but not as frequently as with Google. So when you go in here, you get here's your quick results. All right.
Right.
You get all these restoration guys. And what's interesting is I click this and it goes right to the website and fast. Okay. So
Yep.
it's kind of preferable. The other thing is that, how people search has been changing for a long time. Keywords are valuable from a tracking perspective and to Google and to type and all that, but uh, it's not really how people have searched really for a long time. I mean, probably 7 or 8 years. And we found that when people started voice searching, like in Siri and Alexa, that was a dramatic shift in how
Oh
people
yeah.
search. Because if you do an Alexa search, that whole sentence goes into
Conversational.
the search.
Right.
So the keywords are basically just good for tracking and sort of filtering into all of the searches. But with this, with AI, it's all prompts.
Yeah.
And so I just did a keyword search into ChatGPT, but that's not really what's happening. People are more doing stuff. They'll be like, hey, ChatGPT. I do this all the time. I use the voice feature almost every time. They'll be like, hey, ChatGPT, I have mold in my bathroom. Can you find a mold company that will come and remove it and make sure they have 25 stars on their properties, make sure they have photos on their website that show the guys so they look like respectable guys. They'll say a whole paragraph of qualifying features, and then ChatGPT will then go search and do all the qualifying for them. So that's how the prompts are going. It's really interesting. And in a way, it's kind of good because it's filtering out a lot of the riffraff out there that we all know exists in this space. But that's how ChatGPT is working. And with AI searching, I mean, they're really getting 60% plus of all of the AI searches. But when it comes to local stuff, you still have, if we were going to sit there and qualify what we hear from our clients, you know, down here at these organic listings, I mean, maybe 1 out of 10 calls are coming from that anymore. And that's probably being very forgiving. So, like these organic results down here that you've seen for 30 years practically, we don't even think they're going to be there in 12 months or under. We think they're going to be gone. And it'll all
It's
be
pretty
AI.
quick.
What's that?
Okay, so that's pretty quick.
Yeah,
So then that begs the question, what is GPT or Grok or Gemini?
right.
Um, the 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 red flag meeting you just discussed with Google,
Mhm.
I think that definitely prompted them to rush Gemini into production
Totally.
because it came out about 50% effective, and it still is. I don't use it, even though it reads all my emails
Right.
and I only use Google devices, so it's yeah. I
Mhm.
hate I hate Gemini. Okay, but ChatGPT, what is going back to that tab, what is that currently pulling from?
Well, I mean, it's pulling from various things. One of the things that you'll watch is it'll show little kind of icons, and you'll see that it's referencing Yelp. It's just referencing different properties. Okay.
Okay.
And what's funny is I've read reports where even some of these, what are they referencing? Google My Business Profiles. You know what I mean? So it's
Okay.
just it's the way to think about it is it's not thinking for you, it's following your parameters.
Yeah.
And it's doing this, like right now, I go and Google this. I'm looking through the internet right now. I'm looking at ads. I'm looking at this. I'm going to look at reviews. I'll go in here and I'll be like, what kind of people am I inviting into my house? I'm doing all this personally. And the real change with AI is it's doing that for you,
Right.
right?
Agent.
So it's kind of like here's the internet, here's you, and then there's that AI search agent right in between you. And maybe when it gets into super intelligence, which God could be within the next 3 years, that stuff, then maybe it'll do the thinking for you, but it's not there yet. It's just a search agent.
Yeah. So
Oh, yeah.
I put out a video recently. We were talking about this earlier, and my take on AI as it relates to search today is that it's really good at summarizing a lot of information.
Mm-hmm.
So if, in Chrome, if you search through Google, you're going to see an AI summary at the top. And then if you hover over all those results in that AI summary, they're all first page SEO results. So it's literally just regurgitating information that is lower on the page. I also
Yeah.
make the statement or argument that Google is not ever going to take away from its ad revenue. It has an obligation to shareholders to continue showing growth year over year over year.
Yeah, we have
Eh,
that same opinion. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Right. I think anybody with a brain would, right? Because that's what a corporation
well, with ChatGPT, they're not
exists to
ad
do.
based, right? So,
Right.
we pay $20 a month for this or whatever we pay for it. Google has been primarily ad based. And if you want to, like us, we've been working with Google, organics for a long time, including Google Business Profile and stuff like that. Um, and to really understand all of their moves, just think with, okay, well, how do we make more money? That's their primary thought process.
Yep.
And so that's why, like when you do a search like this, you have to go down before you hit the organic results 16 inches.
Yep.
Google's not, these guys aren't stupid, right? They're very smart guys. But when it comes to this stuff here, I know there's a lot of we don't even think with this in terms of call production anymore. If it gets a call, great. But with our tactics, we have abandoned those some time ago. Um, and if we do them, it's more to have them read and understood by AI than anything. We know that these aren't producing calls
Right.
that much anymore. And one of the things we think is that one of the reasons that this is going to disappear is right now, this all mode is the default mode. And this is going to get
Right.
back to your ad point, John, is we think at some point they'll throw the switch and AI mode will be the default. And that's why this will go away. And if it stays, maybe they'll keep it as like classic mode for all of us who, don't want to be like the movie I, Robot, like we want to be old school and cook our own meals and not have Tesla bots cleaning our apartments or whatever.
Right. It'll be for the millennials.
Yeah, for the millennials.
Gen X doesn't trust it. Zoomers don't trust it. Boomers
Right.
don't know how to get here. The
Uh-huh.
millennials will love it.
Yeah. But if you go over to AI mode, there's no ads over here yet. It's only a matter of time before
Yeah,
Google puts ads in here. There's no way that nobody throws away $250 billion in ad revenue.
correct.
It's going to move over. And so I think that's what they're testing out right now because this format changes every day. And one of the things that we've been educating all of our clients on is kind of like Uber. To contact all the Uber drivers, you got to use the Uber app, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you notice, if we go into the organic results over here, old school, we can go right into and here, free publicity for, these guys, Utah's
Yeah,
premier.
UDK. Shout out.
UDK, shout out to these guys. But you notice I went right to their website from clicking this.
Right.
You're not seeing that in AI. In AI, what happens, and this again, this may change, but we can sort of see the writing on the wall here. If I click this right here, Google Business Profile. If I go
Yeah.
down here, notice the maps are also at the bottom, by the way.
Yeah.
If I click here, Google Business Profile, any of these reference links, Google Business Profile, or a reference to their site, which, if anybody knows internet marketing, every click that you do, you're losing the people actually coming to the website.
Yeah.
It's like half your leads disappear per page. Google also knows this, but so basically your Google Business Profile is being treated like your website on Google AI. And we find that very interesting. And if this makes the switch, and think about how much search traffic Google gets, they're still the dominant searched, source. They don't have
Yeah.
the dominant searched AI source. They maybe get, 12% or so of the AI searching, but that's still not the dominant source of search. So they're
Yeah.
focusing everything on this, which is all of our tactics have changed around this. Like, I mean, probably, a good percentage is going into AI search to prepare all of our clients to move over to that and get them into that. Google Business Profile being one of the major sources. And just the organic, like I said, it, we still have to do stuff on websites and stuff like that that shows up as organic, but these aren't producing calls. And
Well, organic, but also AI friendly. You mentioned that, right?
yeah, exactly. That's
Okay.
more of our tactic. Like let's
Make
find
it very indexable, readable with AI.
yeah, and I'll show this for everybody too. Let's see if these guys have it on there. It's very typical to do stuff like landing pages. Yeah, like these guys have them. Everybody has it. It's like kind of like SEO 101, but let's, you do these landing pages. I want to show up in Utah. I want to show up in Salt Lake City. And here, so we'll open up a couple of these. This was a good organic technique back in the day because you could show up in Heber, Utah in the organic listing,
Right. Local SEO.
local
That was the
SEO.
strategy. Yeah.
Yeah. And this wasn't all a local SEO. This was just the landing page strategies. And these have ceased to work because nobody's clicking on those organic listings to call you. So when we're taking on programs, it's almost like we have to re-educate clients. Like, listen, I know you've seen this for 20 years, but listen, it's not really pulling the calls anymore. And they'll be like, yeah, I have noticed calls 20 miles away have disappeared. And we're like, well, this is why. But
Yeah.
this takes it back to ad revenue, John, there's different ways to show up outside of your territory. This is getting pretty antiquated and probably was last year. But with ads is one of the things that we're seeing is that, outside of what I've already talked about with what we do, kind of getting back into the pay-per-click territory, one of the primary ways we're seeing people start to get outside of their major area is the sponsored ads again,
Mhm.
because that's one of the primary ways. And I think Google designed it that way, of course. Like, oh, you want to get outside of your area? Well, you're gonna
Yeah. Yeah. We can create the perception that any company is, 2 blocks over with ads.
exactly. And so
Now what's it?
we've seen an
What?
increase in, you know, that's why we think we've seen the increase anyway on like why sponsored ads are pulling again from a further area on top of the fact how they changed the look again. But anyway.
So what's interesting is from a conversion standpoint, which I'm and you all too are kind of obsessed with,
Mhm.
those local city pages
Mhm.
work really well for conversion.
Yeah.
If we're trying to create the perception that you as a company are not 40 miles away, but you're half a mile away, we need that local city page. So
Mhm.
it's going to be interesting to see how those pages help in the future. It may not be the page that generates the click, but it may be the page that generates the phone call. So when I say conversion, I mean what makes that customer actually call you, not
Yeah.
just go to your site, get you a click, an impression, a conversion from a Google standpoint, because that's not real. What generates the phone call? And the local city page is what really helps with that. Okay, so my question is, I
Well,
own a
before we
restoration
move on to
company.
that question,
Okay.
you and I have worked together for a long time. I mean, 15 years or so.
Mhm.
And we always operate on the same thing. We don't care about metrics and stats. It's like what got the phone to ring. We've all
Right.
focused on that from our respective areas. And it's interesting. We did a call with one of our clients, and they have another marketing company that they work with, and they kept grilling us. They're like, "Well, what stats are you guys going to report to the client?" And we're like, "Phone calls." Like he couldn't get it through his head. It was so funny, John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, yeah, but I mean, there's got to be metrics that you guys look at. I go, yeah, but we've been working with restoration guys for 16 years.
They don't care about
They
anything
don't
but phone
care about the
calls.
metrics. Show them the
Yep.
phone calls and they're happy. You can show them beautiful reports. Like, and we could talk about big franchises that send out big, beautiful reports. But the thing is those guys who are puppeting this metrics things like, oh, look at how much our traffic has increased. Look how much traffic we're getting.
That's the razzle dazzle
It's
of
the
Yep.
digital
razzle
marketing.
dazzle, but here's the
Yeah.
thing is in AI search and in Google AI search, they're not gonna get the traffic. They're not even going to the website. That's the thing that we're showing everybody. Is like, look, it's great to show the razzle dazzle, as you call it. Um, I'm going to use that word more just because you said that,
Yeah,
John.
no problem. It is
Yeah,
my
but
gift to you.
I mean, look at this. I don't
Yeah,
have
they've got the
to,
phone number there. Yeah, that's
I don't
true.
have to go to the website, right? Like,
That's true.
and so the traffic, like on informational searches, I'll stop screen sharing here. But on informational searches, AI search has already killed 30 to 70% of informationally based websites
Yeah.
traffic. So it doesn't mean that they don't convert into calls or business. It's just what they're doing is different. They're being more in a centralized area. Google is already doing that as well. If it switches over to AI mode at some point in the next 6 months, 12 months, or whatever, these guys that just sit there and go, look at your traffic, look at your traffic, look at your traffic. I mean, they got nothing left to report. They like either got to produce a call
Yeah.
or not. I mean, it's going to get that cut and dry.
I hadn't thought of that from an agency standpoint. Our monthly reports consist of 5 metrics, and it's bare minimum. How many clicks did I get? What was the average cost for those clicks? What did I spend, et cetera.
Mhm. Yeah.
I've so dumbed them down because first I know actually no one reads reports.
Yeah.
Um,
No, we know that too. Nobody reads
so
reports ever.
Right. But I can go to that and say, hey, open up your August report. Let's look at that real quick. Um, no one reads reports. It's all about perceived success and their metric, what they're basing that off of is perceived phone calls. And
Hmm.
then potentially the next step would be revenue. And not even like concrete revenue, but also perceived revenue, right? That's kind of how it trickles down. Um, I had not thought about the agency aspect of, now how are they creating their pie charts and what lingo are they using to put into this 14-page full color report they send every month?
Hmm.
They're not going to have much to report. But my question is, let's say I'm an owner. I have noticed my calls have fallen off a cliff over the last 6 months. How
Hmm.
do I prepare for the next 6 months or the next 24 months? What do
Well, you
I do?
got you got to think. I mean, first of all, if you're dealing with guys that aren't figuring this out, I mean, if anybody's talking about landing pages and Google organic rankings, they're already behind the ball like a year. Like I said, we noticed this some time ago. But like I said, that Q4 was when we were like, okay, the calls for coming from there are just about dead.
Mhm.
So we don't even work on that as a target to produce calls. So that's one thing is you just got to go where things are going. I mean, customers are always going to need you, right? Like they're always going to look for you.
Yeah.
And so like ads, we know that as soon as things go over, Google ads are going to be front and center on Google AI. There's no
Yeah.
way it's not. Okay. It's just not there right now. You got to be optimized for ChatGPT, mainly because, like I said, it's getting the dominance of the AI searching. But Grok has taken, Grok keeps growing. I don't know that Gemini will even be as big as Grok. Maybe because they switched their search marketing over, but you know,
Here's
it's
what I
kind of
think
like
about
Yahoo
Gemini.
back in the day. Remember Yahoo?
Oh yeah.
Everybody used to use Yahoo, but it only takes one really bad move for an entire generation of people to stop using something. So Google's got to be careful with this AI mode and not just focus on, like, oh, we want everybody to use our property, our Google My Business. Like, it has to be a good user experience. Typically, Google's okay at that. But yeah, we'll see. We'll
I,
see what happens. You just got to not stay behind the curve. It's like putting a, $45,000 phone book ad in a phone
mhm.
book in 2009 was ridiculous. As soon as
Yeah.
the iPhone came out, that was like the final nail in the coffin for phone books.
Right.
Um, so you just have to apportion things, And right now, like we just talked about, we're seeing ads being more preferentially placed. I mean, they sometimes take up 8 inches of the screen. That tells you
Yeah.
something right there. And then Google Maps is a big priority because that's red. And there's other properties around like that, ChatGPT and AI mode and different percentages. But that's where people have to start thinking with that. Have you seen the new device that they're starting to look at with Apple's old designer and OpenAI?
No.
Like a personal carrying device. There's not even a screen on it. It's just like
What the heck?
it's like a talking AI device. And I'm looking at this
I
one.
didn't see that.
Yeah, I just saw this last week. I was like, that's different. It's just like a communication device. There was a movie um, with Joaquin Phoenix where it's kind of they have a device like this. I was like, oh, it's like that movie. So who knows where, what
Yeah.
consumers are going to be using in 5 years? I don't, but
Yeah,
we certainly all have to play prediction. And any owner that we talk to, we're like, look, we don't care what the reports are. We don't care what anybody says. Is it getting calls or not?
right.
Right. And we get
S-
customers that call and tell us, like, hey, whatever you guys are doing on ChatGPT, we just got our first ChatGPT call finally, or something like that. And
Yeah.
that's how they have to think
Yeah.
now.
Okay, so I think from a Google perspective, because Google is still over 90% of all searches worldwide.
Hmm.
And they're not, unless this administration comes in and breaks up the actual monopoly that Google is, um, they're going to be the dominant player
Right.
for the foreseeable future. I don't think Gemini is going to be. I don't think we're going to really remember Gemini 2 years from now. This is my guess. I believe they will so blend their AI with Google that it's just Google. Because Gemini is
Yeah.
not a
That's
verb,
what we
and I
think.
don't think Gemini will become a verb. Google has been and will be for many, many years to come a verb, until hopefully someone dethrones them. You
Well,
guys can't hear
even
the ringing in
Apple,
my ears, can
we
you?
haven't even brought up Apple yet. They've got
Yeah.
Apple
Yes,
Intelligence, and Apple has had funny threats years ago coming out with their own ad-free search engine. And
Mhm.
that was Google's like, oh no, oh no. And then they didn't do that. And nobody knew why until we got this lawsuit data where they were getting paid I think it was $2.5 billion a year by Google to be to be downloaded into all their devices. It's just funny. The money makes the world go round. But yeah.
of course, of course. Um, okay, so I think you answered my question on what do I do as an owner.
Hmm.
Um, I think I still have some more like SEO questions, but to kind of reiterate what AI is pulling from. Okay, now let me state it this way. Over the next, let's say, 12 months, how important is my website? How important is my online presence? Are those still important things? Like, is my website still important? Let's start
Yeah,
with that one.
of course it is. I mean, listen, like the example that we use for people, which doesn't really work with the younger restoration guys because they've never stepped foot in a library before. So we'll have this one go out to all the guys that grew up with libraries and phone books. Okay, so
Shout out libraries.
shout out libraries. So listen, you go to a library, you want to find your book, you went to a card catalog, right?
Yeah, Dewey
And
Decimal System. Yeah.
yeah, Dewey
Yep.
Decimal System. Yeah, we say that to some of these younger kids. They're like, "What the hell is
They're
the?"
like, what's
Yeah.
that?
I know.
Is he one of the of Scrooge McDuck's
Yeah.
nephews? Yeah.
So, but the internet, if you just think of the internet, it's a giant card catalog system. Everything's arranged by the decimal system or alphabetized. And, one web page on your website is one of those cards. And instead of being in a card catalog, it's on a server. That's the
Hmm.
internet. Okay. We can get all complicated about it and AI or whatever, but the internet is the internet. It's web pages on servers all over the world, a gazillion pages, especially now that AI has been pumping out content for 3 years. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But, just how that's getting searched has changed. So instead of us searching it, you've got you prompting specific parameters into AI, which is now searching the internet. And that answers your question right there. How important is a website? Have to have it. Have to have it. Didn't go away, but how you quote unquote optimize or market that site is changing. But it's still sort of a central point because it makes you real, it makes you referenceable. You can program it to, like how do you show up for a prompt? How do you show up for a keyword search on, some people are still going to use keyword searching probably for the next 10, 15 years just because they're used to it. They don't
Yeah.
want to go over to AI searching. So it's still very important, but you can see the Google business profile on their AI search. They want you really preferenced and get people used to that as the primary source because Google, of course, owns that
Hmm.
and you don't.
Yeah.
So uh, a lot of people I don't even think they're going to click through to the website to that degree. So that's going to make
Interesting.
everything that's on the main Google property, like again, like an Uber, like you're going to operate through that. And it aligns with how things have gone, though. Look how impatient people are. We design all of our programs for 3 to 5 seconds to understand what you do and call. Nobody
Yep.
reads anything. It's like, here you are, here's your credibility statement, here's the highlights, why you should use us, 5 seconds, boom, call. Nobody's
Right.
reading anything.
No.
Um, with
But the
social,
website is still it's part of the card catalog system,
big
right?
time.
If we continue the metaphor.
Big time.
So that information has to be
Yeah.
relevant, updated, and in a concise manner so AI can read it and regurgitate it.
Yeah.
Um,
Along with the other sources. Along with the other
yeah.
sources. So one thing that sucks is Yelp. Anybody who's in business hates Yelp. And I'm sorry, Yelp, but I don't know anybody that likes you, mostly due to your customer
No,
service.
they're a crime family. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a documentary on that too, if anybody wants to watch it. But
Oh,
everybody complains to us about Yelp and how they handle the support and the reviews or whatever. But one of the things that we're seeing ChatGPT pull from almost first, if not one of the first three things, is Yelp, which is terrible.
yeah.
So we don't think that that'll go on for long. They'll be like Apple. Like Apple preloaded Yelp as their
Right.
Maps reviews thing. But Yelp has a pretty bad reputation out there, and if you're doing Yelp reviews on restaurants still, I mean, that was only cool in like 2010. So we
Yeah.
think it's a matter of time, but it is referencing it right now. So a lot of guys don't spend any time on handling their Yelp reviews because it's a pain in the ass, but you got to sort of handle that now, at least for the time being.
You do. And it's, our advice for years and years and years, it's literally on our homepage, has been Google gives you several opportunities to show up on the first page of search results. And so do everything and do it consistently.
Yeah,
I don't, if I've got a client that is only doing pay-per-click, for instance, that is a monthly phone call of, okay, what other initiative are you implementing? Because
right.
that is literally having all the eggs in one basket. Um, so I don't know if my counsel changes at all. It's still do everything. Some of the things they're doing are different now, but I think it's the same general strategy.
Hmm.
Um, and then we've thought here about, I have never let Google um, build ad accounts, write ad copy. I just do not believe in it. I refuse. And Google has set up the ad, their entire ad program is set up to where I've said this 1,000 times, but a chimp could create an ad account and probably manage ads with some measure of success.
Right,
Because Google has made it to where they know the system's complicated, and at the
right,
end of the day, all they want is your money. And so they're going to default everything, and every recommendation is going to be about how can we make this user's ads as clickable as possible to the widest audience as that we can get, right?
right.
And our job has been mitigating that, sort of being the transmission, controlling the horsepower. Um, but we've looked at how are we using AI, and for social media, yes, we absolutely AI is a great tool. But a few rules I have, it cannot, nothing we produce can look like AI, and if it does, it has to be so over the top that AI is the only explanation. And
It's
even then,
it's
it's very limited.
Yeah, we have the same opinion here. I mean, we use AI for content development and stuff, but we're not content marketers over here per se, because that strategy is really it's a rough strategy right now. But
Yep.
it's interesting if you think about it, you've got AI content, and then you've got AI gauging AI content. And you've got AI trying to get better at sounding more human, and then AI getting better at discovering, is this a human or not? I mean, that game is just hilarious to me. So you're gonna
Yeah.
have AI fighting AI, and even like in August, you saw Google demonetized all this auto AI content and the stuff that's just getting regurgitated, where they put the original content, and then the guy in the corner going like, uh-huh, mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's
All the
glowing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So
And it's an
that
AI
stuff
voiceover.
all demonetized. The overly AI content all is getting demonetized. So
Yeah.
it's sort of an interesting motion. The more AI it gets, the more reality is being really appreciated, and we think
Yeah.
that's going to follow through to the consumer very much so. So much so it's one of our leading strategies, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and it's interesting. My kids can spot AI voice, AI images, AI video faster than I can. It still
right.
takes me a few minutes. Um, they pick up on it like it is ingrained in them. I think they've seen so much real media, um, and that is an indictment on me, I guess. But um, they can spot it. They know immediately if that's an AI voiceover, if what they're watching is, between AI, CGI, and real. They are very, very savvy. It's interesting. It's been really interesting to watch.
Well, listen, so we're running long. Anybody that's
Yep,
listened to it this long, hats off to you because I hope you guys learned a lot in here. This is
Yeah.
important changes. It's 2025. I'm gonna
yep,
love to listen to this from 10 years ago, 10 years from now and go like, wow, were we right or were we right? You know,
yep.
maybe we were wrong. Who knows? Maybe we'll all be dead because the Terminators just in Skynet just obliterated all of us.
It's
But
possible.
John, I really appreciate the time and all the advice and knowledge as usual. Brittany, thanks for all of your time.
Thanks.
Everybody, you guys take care.
All
Bye,
right.
guys.
Bye.